I don't know how to explain it. I grow vegetables.
I'm a singer who loves growing vegetables.
Hey everyone, I'm Anne-Marie. I'm a singer and I'm here with Women's Health UK and this is My Body, My Story. Me and my body are getting on great at the moment. It's been a long journey of getting to this point. And even though I'm at this point, I still have lows and look at myself and go, oh God, eat some carrots or something. So I used to see my body in a very superficial way with like the shape it was or, you know, all that stuff. And now I see it much more as it's my purpose, you know, like it's here and it's helping me through life. So I very much appreciate my body now in a different way. Healthy to me right now means healthy mind, I think, because I've spent a lot of time doing diets and eating healthy and being alkaline and trying all these different things to help my body feel better, but I do just always think if your mind isn't right, then no matter how you're eating, you're always gonna just feel a bit rubbish about yourself. So healthy to me is definitely keeping your mind good. Stuff I do to keep my mind healthy is Lego. I'm a Lego freak. Like I have a whole town. I've built a whole town in my house. Yeah, that's going well. There's no space for it, but it's just there. I do a lot of cooking, grow vegetables, get massages. Yeah, just try and do loads of things. Writing a diary for me is like, one, it lets out all your feelings and thoughts to someone, something that isn't gonna judge you. So it's just like the best thing to just write anything you want in. And also when you look back at, even last year, if I look back at my diary, I've changed so much. And I think without physically seeing my writing on a piece of paper, I wouldn't have necessarily seen that change because obviously you're yourself and living it every day. It's hard to notice differences and stuff you've learned. But when you read it in a sentence, it's kind of crazy. For this third album, I've actually been so happy and I feel proud of myself because I feel like the first album was very much new to the industry, don't know what I'm doing, just do songs and hope people like it. And thankfully they did, so I did a second one which came out in lockdown and happened during lockdown, so that was a very odd time and experience to do something like that because I couldn't really tour it or show people, so that was weird. And then this third album is like everything I've learned from my first and second and in music and who I am as a human being, putting it into this project and finally just becoming who I've seen myself as from when I first got signed, I think. Basically, this album should have been my first album, if I knew what I knew now. I think every song I write and every album I do, I'm the most real I can be. And I write about real experiences and stuff I go through. So it's never not me. It just felt like because I didn't truly know who I was as a human being yet, it never really connected in my head until this album, so I feel pretty free right now. So I started therapy in lockdown because I basically feel like I should have had therapy when I was about 16 because I feel like that's when my struggles in my brain really started, but I didn't really know anything about therapy back then or what it was. I just went along with life and just thought this is what life is. It's hard and I just have to deal with it. And I was kind of rubbish at telling people how I felt, so kept it all in. Lockdown happened, exploded, felt really numb and rubbish, and my manager said just try therapy, just try it out, and I said fine. I'd done it every week for 2 straight years. And it was a slow but amazing journey. It definitely changed my life completely. Like I wouldn't have been here without it, if I'm being honest. So I kind of owe everything to my therapist, but yeah, lately I've had a weird feeling lately about it, because I felt like I'd learnt so much about my brain and how to deal with emotions and understand everything logically, that I almost felt like how I felt when I started therapy, where I was a bit numb and I didn't really feel emotions extremely anymore. Although I wasn't like depressed and like I was before, I felt like I hadn't been like ecstatically happy in ages, or like very angry in ages, or cried my eyes out in ages. And I was like, oh, I really miss those emotions. So I stopped it for a while and let those feelings come back. But from therapy, I'd learned all of the things and how to deal with stuff that I never let myself get to that bad point anymore. I can always have the tools from therapy to get through that stuff. I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was in college, so a bit late. I was kind of naughty in school. I just remember always being quite loud and my attention span being quite short, and my teachers used to call me goldfish. Like, goldfish, goldfish. And yeah, I think that people thought that I was just a bit of a horrible person and I just didn't care, but I actually just couldn't concentrate in school. So it just got left as in I was just a bit annoying as a student, and then got to college, and I think my teachers were just seeing that I was finding it hard, like reading a long passage, and just difficult to understand things without people telling me with their voice instead of like writing it down. And they said, I think you should get tested for it. So I went to this little weird room at college, and it was like first of all, a little questionnaire with someone, and then it was like a computer test. So it ended up saying you have ADHD and dyslexia, which apparently come like hand in hand quite a lot of the time. So I mean, one of the things of this ADHD was like you find it hard to wake up in the morning, and I was like, yes, I have a reason. When I write music, it is all about my emotions and my feelings and situations that I've been in life. So if I'm not going through anything, or if I'm numb, then I ain't gonna have a song for you. I definitely have been in that place where, I mean, I thought it was writer's block, because, you know, people go through that, but I just felt like I didn't feel anything. So, and I find it hard to make stuff up and just be like, oh, I'm gonna write a song about going to the club. And I'm like, but I haven't been to the club, so I don't really know how to explain it properly. So every song is very true to something that I've been through, or something that my friend's been through, because I'm an empath as well, which is quite, a lot to have. So when my friends have told me stories before, I've totally just felt what they're going through, and I've been able to write about that, which is pretty cool, which is, I guess, another thing I had to adjust to, because empathy and being an empath is so hard and has been hard to deal with. And then I realised it helped me with stuff like that, and writing about my friends' stories and stuff that other people have gone through. I definitely have compassion and empathy for myself now, but before therapy, I had none whatsoever, and I was just basically empty, because I felt so much for other people that I gave them everything that I had and had nothing left for myself. That was like a really hard time, because I love to give to people in need, or anyone, to be honest, in my life. So that was hard, because when you start learning that being selfish is a good thing, it's like a really hard thing to adjust to. And then you realise that if you are selfish and look after yourself, you can actually look after other people more than you have been. That was a big realisation for me. So I 100% feel empathy for myself. I look after myself now. And yeah, in turn, I can look after other people better too. I have always had a hard relationship with gym. I think when it comes to sport, I can do sport all day, every day, like with karate, or in school I did a lot of basketball and athletics, and I just loved it. And I've always been fit, like my body has always been in good shape. But then I think that when I come out of karate and I got a bit older and I was like, oh, I haven't got any sports to do, I definitely struggled with moving. But being on stage, I move so much, it's kind of like the gym to me. My relationship with my body's shape has been all over the place, if I'm honest. Since I guess started properly going through puberty, I think I was like, why are my hips getting bigger? I don't want big hips. I don't want a big bum. I want big boobs, but I haven't got big boobs, so how is this gonna work out? And then I literally saw being popular in school with having a good body. It was so weird, and I felt like I didn't. So I felt like I was my own fault for not being popular in school. And then obviously that became an obsession with what I looked like. And when I was about 21, I just kind of stopped eating, and I wanted to be really, really, really skinny, and I became really skinny. I think after that, and a few people said, you know, you're like, you can see bones, basically. I was like, oh, I didn't really notice. And then it was like a really weird thing, because then I started hanging out with people who saw beautiful, mean, curvy. So then I was like, oh, now I need to be curvy. And I was just chasing this body perfection that just didn't exist, and I was not happy either way. And I've finally come to a place where my body just is what it is, and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. And I've kind of no control over the shape of it, because that's my skeleton, and I can just eat good and try and be healthy with a couple burgers on the side. This is kind of a crazy story about Shania Twain, because as well as learning so much in therapy about my emotional and physical side in a relationship with myself, I had major confidence issues with like thinking that everyone hated me. For some reason, I just had it in me from young. So I never, ever, even though I collaborated a lot, I never asked anyone. Whenever I collaborated, it was them asking me, and I was always shocked that they would ask me. And then lockdown happened, therapy happened, and then the first session I did out of lockdown was with Niall Horan, and I'd actually messaged him on Instagram and said, let's do a session together. And I was so shocked at myself that I'd sent that message. And I thought, wow, this is crazy. I can do it. I can actually just do it. And we did the session, and it was amazing. So since then, it's kind of given me the confidence to believe that people want to do songs with me. And yeah, it carried on, did loads of other collaborations. And then with this Unhealthy song, I wrote it in July last year in LA. And obviously it's a little bit country, so I was like, how does this make sense when I just brought out a song called Psycho, which is not country at all? Like, how do I make this work? And honestly, the only person I thought that was just so right for it was Shania. And I was like, how do we do this? And I just said, let's just send it. Just send it and see. And I was thinking there was no way 2 years ago I would have done that. No way. And I was so proud of myself for doing it. And she came back and said, I love it. I'm in the studio in London tomorrow. Come there and meet me. And I was like, what? So it was very quick. It was a very quick turnaround, and she was in the UK for 1 day, and then she was flying home. So it was all meant to be. It all happened, and it was meant to be, and it was beautiful. She was amazing. I am very proud of myself. It's a very rare feeling that you get, because as a perfectionist, you don't let yourself really feel proud. You just strive for the next thing, and you go, and that what you've done and achieved is gone, and you're just looking to the next thing. And the other day I sat down and I just was like, wow, I've done it. I'm proud of this album. I'm so proud of it, and I've done it all the way I wanted to do it. I've written with my friends, I've had fun, I've mixed it all, I chose all of the collaborations. It's basically what I've as soon as I got into the industry, all I've wanted to do is what I've just said, and I've done it in this third album. So I just sat there and felt so proud, and I actually felt like now I can be whoever I want to be, and I don't feel like the pressure for people to see who I am, because I feel like I just am me. So it's a really beautiful, proud feeling. If I was speaking to my 6-year-old self, I would say keep being exactly who you are forever because I feel like you spend so long in life just growing up and thinking, oh, I need to be an adult now, and losing that spark of a child, and then you become old and then you're like, oh, I want to be a child again. So if I was speaking to my child self, I'd be like, just stay the same forever. I mean, become responsible and stuff and pay some bills, but stay with a child's eyes looking at the world. To my teenage self, I'd say, don't worry about it. Everything's going to work out fine. Care less about what people think. These people aren't going to matter to you in 2 years' time. Stay strong and just keep fighting. And if I honestly would say something to myself 5 years ago, I'd say you will be happy one day, and that is what should keep you fighting through this tough bit, because you'll find happiness. Thank you so much for watching. This has been My Body, My Story.